Hi, and welcome to another episode where I take vintage drive-in speakers, clean them up, repaint them if they need them, fix the internals if they need them, and make them sound fantastic once more. Now, I would show you something on the table today, but I don't have anything on the table right now. In fact, I'm actually at a drive-in flea market. They still have some of these. Some drive-ins will have a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning blacked out, and people will come and they'll sell their wares. And I'm going to go in here and just see if I can find something that would really stand out. Maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe I'll find a drive-in speaker. You never know. Besides, if I do, it's going to be a great restoration and it has some pedigree to it. Let's go. Hey everybody, you're not going to believe this. I found this at the Drive-In Flea Market. This is a simplex miniature drive-in speaker, and it's still got the original knob. It's a little weathered. The cable is a bit pitted, but I'm very curious as to what I can do with this. I got it for $25, and I'm very lucky I did. I'm going to make something out of this. I believe I will. Tune in and find out. So this is the simplex unit that I got at the flea market. It's a beautiful looking piece. And there's a couple things that are definitely needing to be addressed. This part here is supposed to have an acrylic or a plastic bar that would either advertise the theater name or some sort of special that might have been going on. I'm going to need to get a replacement on that. This probably was just a sticker. I have to do some more research on that. But let's get to taking things apart. There we go. Now it looks like there's 3 holes for screws, but I only see 2 screws that are in. So I will have to address getting a 3rd screw for that bottom part down here. These are simple flathead screws, so they will not be any trouble to extract. It's the first one. Put those in baggies so they do not disappear. Now the second one. Ooh, this one's in pretty deep. Come on. Whoa, look at the size of this baby. This is like when you go out in the garden and you think you're pulling out a dandelion, and the dandelion's here, and the root's all the way down here. This will definitely, I think this would go here too. So I need to go to the hardware store and get a 2nd screw of this length. I'm sure they have them. Let's open her up. Okay. Yeah, inside's going to probably just need a cleaning. Here we have the speaker grill. This is nice. Apparently it used to be blued. This part was protected by the metal. This part was exposed to the elements. Look at this. It's got these raised ridges. This is nice. This will definitely get a good cleaning. We do not want to lose this either. How's the speaker look? A little dirty, but I think we can work with it. Here's the wire. This has definitely seen better days. Look, it's been patched. And let me just take a look at the connectors. Dang, this thing looks like it could have been hung to the other car in the pole. Let's see. Oh God, yeah, these are going to have to be updated. This thing looks like it was hit with an electric storm. Yeah. We're just going to assume we're going to replace the cord. And the potentiometer's in there good. I'm going to have to get this removed. I'll do that off camera because I have a feeling that the hex nut's under there to get the potentiometer out. I don't want to do any sort of work on the case without getting all the parts out. But we've gotten pretty far. I'm pleased. Let's keep going. So I cleaned these up as much as I possibly could, and you can see that there's going to be a lot of curves and nooks and crannies that I am going to have to coat if I want to repaint this. So the first thing we need to do is hit this with the black epoxy primer. And this is the product that I use. It's called Car Rep 2K Epoxy Primer. You can get it for about $25 at Amazon or probably directly from the company. Car Rep doesn't sell this to me for free or a discount, and they don't pay me to endorse them. This is my personal recommendation, and it works really well for me. So let's give this thing a nice coat of the self-etching primer all over every single edge of this. What I've got now, after I've added the black epoxy primer, is I want to give this a nice bright color. And so I decided to go with this paint that I purchased from the spraysource.com, a little teal time candy pearl. And I have to really give this a good coating because, as you can see, there are a lot of surfaces on this chassis alone. I have to make sure I catch everything. So let's get started, shall we? I'm going to put a light coat on and then a couple of thicker coats to make sure this teal really sparkles. Can I show you this? This is after a couple coats of clear coat and that teal time candy pearl. God, this thing shimmers. This is absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to reassemble this, but I still have some parts that have to be put together. But I just wanted you to see this first. In addition to painting the chassis and making sure that's all pretty teal, I decided to paint up the grille. Now I used a gray self-etching primer for this, but I am going to still use this teal time candy pearl to give it a different contrast to the body of the chassis. So let's give this a little bit of a spritz. I dry fitted the two halves of the speaker chassis together because I wanted to show you what I plan to do with this area here and this area here. This area would hold a title card, maybe a little coupon, or the name of the theater. And for that, I made this little card for what was once a drive-in in my hometown of Albany, New York, the Turnpike. And I think the land that the Turnpike once existed on is now a apartment complex, and that kind of is what happens when you have open space for a drive-in. Now, the brace under here is a plastic brace, a plastic tube, and I got this replacement from the good people at Detroit Diecast. Again, not sponsored, didn't get this for a discount or for free. And it comes with a little slip that says movies are better than ever, which is nice, but I want to go a little further. Seeing as this came from a drive-in in Albany, New York, or at least I'm making it look like it did, I decided to have an Albany-based double feature. And for that, I went with the classic film Ironweed, which was filmed in Albany and stars Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep. I also put in, as a second added feature, The Cotton Club, which starred Richard Gere, Diane Lane, and Gregory Hines, and that The Cotton Club was written by, well, the screenplay was written by William Kennedy, who wrote the book that became the movie Ironweed. So you've got an Albany-based William Kennedy double feature. And that's going to go right in here, and that is going to be part of the speaker itself. Now all I have to do is put all the parts back together in this chassis, screw it back together, and we should be good to go. Here's what I've done. I was able to reuse the potentiometer volume control because that knob, I think, is proprietary to the simplex unit that I'm working on. The speaker is a 3.5-inch speaker that I picked up at the auto parts store, and I have everything wired in to my Bluetooth amplifier. And if all goes well, I should be able to play one of my YouTube videos right through. Let's see. Fix them up, clean them up, repaint them, and make them look absolutely fantastic for future use. Up here on the table now is a vintage RCA clone. And I think that answers the question. We're in good shape here, and now all I need to do is put all the parts back together. And now we're going to start reassembling everything. First thing I want to do is thread these two leads here with the spade connectors through this hole and get that in. Then just start threading this through. All right, I'm just going to finagle this in here. It's like you're trying to pack a suitcase for a 5-day trip and there's only enough room for 2 days worth of clothing. So you have to just be a little judicious. The speaker grill goes right there. Okay. And we take the sound brace that I made with the Ironweed logo, and that's going to go here. Okay. Now we're going to take the back right here and put everything, make sure that little metal piece is inside, not outside, or it really isn't going to work. Now I want to add these long screws. The machine only had one when I acquired it. There we go. You can see that this right here, this is the volume control, and I put the hex nut on here finger tight. I'm just going to use these needle nose pliers to tighten it up a little more, because I really don't want to take a wrench in there and scrape up the clear coat that I put on here. I really do not. I didn't want to go all this way and put a big gouge in this, because I probably could if I wasn't paying attention. So also, you'll see that this has a little bit of a bump here. This is the original knob, and it actually clicks in place, just like that. And the unit still works, the volume still turns. And all I need to do now is put this logo right here in the slot. And guess what, people? We are done. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this restoration. And please come back for my next one. And if you're wondering why you're looking at the time bar on this and you're seeing, hey, there's still some time left on this video, that's because this video is not done. Because normally I would say go to my Etsy site and you can order drive-in speakers that I've already created. But this one is actually going to be part of a very special charity auction. And I'll tell you more about that as we progress. And look what we have here. This was actually auctioned off as part of a fundraiser to help restore buildings in my hometown. As you can see, it sold. So I'm quite happy. And you saw it go from being just a piece left over from a drive-in sale to an artwork that actually helps a charity. Thanks for joining me on this little journey. And if you like what you're seeing, please stop by my Etsy site, which is chuckmillercreatives.etsy.com, where you can see other drive-in speakers that I've restored, as well as my photography and other projects. Thank you for visiting this project with me, and join me for my next one.